Hi, welcome back to Bec and Jesse's cheap wine review. Or welcome for the first time if you have never seen one of these before. Hope you have a lot of fun. Today we've got this bottle here. Let me give you a look at it first. You might just be able to read it, so I don't need to tell you what it is. Anyway, it's a Paxis Red Blend from 2015. You might not have seen that bit. And one of the things that really, Beck bought this the other day, I should say, sorry, from Liquorland in North Perth near the Rosemount for $10, down from 20.
Half price.
Half price, so that makes it a cheap bottle at 10. And have a look at this, see if you can get this little label here. You may or may not be able to see that, but it says number 5 in the top 100 best buys of 2016 from the Wine Enthusiast at 90 points. Some of you may know the Wine Enthusiast. I don't, but look, you know,
We are
they recommend it.
wine enthusiasts.
We are turning into wine enthusiasts, perhaps you can say. And that brings us to what we think of this, I guess, almost. But let me tell you about it first. It's from we didn't Google this beforehand, Vinho Regional Lisboa, it says. So, is that wine of the Lisbon region, perhaps? Or maybe I don't know any Portuguese and Vinho is the region, but I'm guessing it's wine of the Lisbon region in Portugal, and it's red table wine. So we had it sitting on the table here. I guess you have it with dinner, whatever. Anyway, 12.5% alcohol, which is 7.4 standard drinks, and it contains sulfites. It's got this nice little, you know, some of these regional wines have got the little, you know, seal of approval. There you go. You can tell it's the real deal.
Authentic.
I've never been to Lisbon. Love to go. Everyone raves about it, obviously. So yeah, Beck is going to give us her initial thoughts on this wine.
Hi everyone, welcome. I walked into Liquorland and really wanted a cheap bottle of wine. I was like, okay, we really need to stick with our cheap wine reviews, and they had like an everyday one for $5.50 or something, but it didn't look any good. Anyway, so this was the best I could come up with. But next episode, we will endeavour to find a very cheap,
Dirt cheap
bottle of wine. All right, let's give it a go. This is probably my third glass now. My initial response to this was quite intense. I think I punched my fists in the air. It's very punchy. Vivacious, I decided was the word I would use to describe it. If you can use that word to describe wine, I think you can. It also packs a punch, which Jesse thinks is a terrible joke. I think it is very suited to its name, Paxis. And yeah, it's very vibrant. It's got a lot going on. It is a blend after all, so I guess you could expect that. And Jesse and I both agreed that when we're trying to think of smells to describe it, we both came up with fruits of the forest. I think it smells like those fruits of the forest pastel lollies. Those they're in a tube like the Lifesavers, but they're those like purple ones with the soft, chewy, and the like sugar around
They're
them.
fruits of the forest, or are they just blueberry?
No, they're not blueberry.
Okay,
I'm pretty
anyway,
sure that there
I
might
think we know
be
what you're
like
talking about.
3 different purple colours in there.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, and Jesse thought of fruits of the forest like muesli, in like a muesli bar or like a granola. So I think it's safe to say you've got some of that going on. I think it's almost like a little bit unnatural, the smell of it. Like it's almost a little bit artificially.
That's what I was going with the granola clusters,
yeah,
you know, like that blueberry or whatever, or, you know,
almost like,
or mixed berry kind of
yeah,
like.
or how you like medicine would taste or something. Yeah, so that's interesting. But maybe that could be something to do with the fact, Jessie, that they don't necessarily put these flavours into the wine, but the chemical reactions are made to reflect those flavours. Yes. We watched half a wine movie last night, so there you go.
Some of you know what movie we're
Anyway,
talking
it's
about.
a bit sweet. It's a bit too much. I don't think I'd want to sit and drink it at the dinner table. Perhaps like this, at a coffee table or at my study desk table where I had my 2 meetings earlier tonight. It was totally fine to drink. I would not want to drink it with pasta or anything like that, but it's too sweet. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Jessie's wrapping me up. Best swizzle around.
We're re-recording because take 1 was too long, but we're running on track to hit that anyway.
All right,
So
sorry.
Bex mentioned the fruits. The fruits of the forest scent. I think that's pretty distinct. You know, it really is like, yeah, you smell it and you're like, that's what that is. Flavor wise, I'm gonna say straight out, I wouldn't buy this again. So for me, that's, you know, it doesn't get the buy it as a cheap wine tick of approval. But if you like a sweeter wine, then maybe it would actually be good. It's got the sweetness gets you first, but behind that, it's got some, I think, like some citrus rind kind of like flavor in there, and maybe some spiciness. I was saying it's kind of like you have already got a start when you're sangria, so or your mulled wine maybe. You know, it's like it's got a bit of the orange flavor in there, maybe like a, you know, like things that are like blood orange flavor.
Maybe I should just chuck it in the microwave.
But you know, maybe a
Heat
little
it
bit
up.
of your mulled wine spices, like a tiny bit of clove or cardamom in there. Anyway, that's it's full bodied, you know. It's not that strong in alcohol, but it's you know, a big round flavour, and yeah. So you know, if you can still get it on sale for $10 this week, and you like a sweeter wine, give it a shot. And if you don't like a sweeter wine,
Skip it.
don't.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good night. Look at that. What a handsome fella.